Hi, this is Hombre the Mundo, your one and only man of world, and welcome to the Zelda Universe Mailbag. We did the mailbag for quite some time, but then for several reasons we stopped doing it. But we felt like it's time to get it back on track. So we're gonna have different presenters every week giving you the answers to all the questions that you want. Now, unfortunately, there's some bad news here. There were some technical difficulties that makes me not have your most recent questions. Last week on Zelda Universe we made a news post saying we're bringing the mailbag back and give us your questions. But then there were some technical difficulties and now we can't access those questions quite yet. So these questions I have now, they're older questions. They're still relevant though. But hopefully by next week it will be fixed and we'll bring you all your new fresh questions. J-Man Retro Nerd asks, "Greetings, Universe. I have a very good question to ask you. If the Link in the Wind Waker, who is obviously around the same age as young Link in Ocarina of Time, could pull the Master Sword without waiting 7 years, why did the young Link in Ocarina of Time have to do so?" Well, there are two answers to this. Or I would say it's either one or the other. The Master Sword works a little bit differently, from game to game. So it could just be an inconsistent rule. A good example of this is the Triforce. The Triforce, like in Legend of Zelda and Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, it works a little bit different from game to game. So it could just be something like that, and that the story is not really consistent to 100%. But there is another simple answer. The reason that Link had to sleep for 7 years in Ocarina of Time was because he wasn't old enough to be the hero of time. Now, Wind Waker Link is not the hero of time, he is the hero of winds. So, maybe he didn't need to be grown up. Maybe that's only something for the hero of time. N. Greenway asks, "In Ocarina of Time, Zelda says that she will banish Ganon to the Sacred Realm, getting him out of Hyrule. In Twilight Princess, Ganon is about to be sent to the Twilight Realm. Could this be taken as the Twilight Realm is the Sacred Realm? Thoughts?" Yes, Ganondorf was indeed sealed in the Sacred Realm at the end of Ocarina of Time. However, that was on the adult timeline. Now, after Ganondorf gets defeated, Zelda sends Link back in time, creating a split timeline, an alternate timeline. So we have two timelines. And in the child timeline, you can see in the end of Ocarina of Time, Link goes to the castle and meets Zelda again. So what happens is they have a little talk, and they decide to take a new direction with Ganondorf because, getting to the Triforce before him didn't work out so well. And I'm not just making this up. This was stated by Eiji Aonuma himself. Now, personally, I believe this is exactly what happened. That after they talked over things, and they probably talked to the King of Hyrule too, Ganondorf was banished from Hyrule. And I think that because in Twilight Princess, when the sages tell you about Ganondorf and his backstory, they say that Ganondorf invaded Hyrule. Whereas in Ocarina of Time, I would say he infiltrated Hyrule and he did a takeover. A government coup, if you will. So, if he was banished, he would gather like an army of Gerudo and do a proper invasion, to get into the Sacred Realm and take the Triforce by force. That's what I think happened. But regardless, he did something. He invaded Hyrule, and he was captured alive. And in Twilight Princess we see this, that he's going to be executed. But through some divine prank, he survives because he has the Triforce of Power. And the sages seal him in the Twilight Realm as a last resort. And I mean, from this it's quite obvious that the Twilight Realm and the Sacred Realm, they're not the same place, because they have completely, different backstories and all that. But also, I mean, it's very evident if you look at the backstory of the Twilight, because the Twilight, what they wanted to do, the whole reason they got trapped in the Twilight Realm was because they wanted to rule the Sacred Realm. So the goddesses said, no, you can't do that, and banished them into the Twilight Realm. And if those two were the same place, hey, you're trying to get into my realm, now I banish you to the same realm that you want to take. Doesn't make sense. So there you go. Jordan Hath asks, do you think that Nintendo might have plans to make Zelda the hero in a new game? Now, most people would say that this is a bad idea and point to the CDI games as an example. I think that's a bit unfair, and there's a lot of people that are in favor of seeing the princess as the main protagonist of a new Zelda game. However, since Link is supposed to be an avatar of the player, playing as Zelda might not achieve the same effect that they're going for, so that leads me personally to believe that Nintendo don't have any plans for this. What they might end up doing is doing something similar to Spirit Tracks, where Zelda, she possessed this phantom and she was constantly helping you out. And it worked well in Spirit Tracks, and I think it will work well in future games as well. Now, of course, it's possible that they could make a spin-off title with Zelda. I mean, hey, if Tingle can get a spin-off series, then anyone can. Now, because the regular Princess Zelda is kind of dull, I would rather play as either Tetra or Sheik. Probably Tetra, because pirates are more awesome than ninjas. Pearls of Life 3 asks, my question is, do you think Link will ever talk in any of the games? I mean just text boxes, no dubbing. Do you think Link having dialogue would be a good or bad thing? Well, this is already happening to a certain extent. I mean, you can pick your dialogue options when you speak to people. Skyward Sword in particular had numerous occasions where you could pick, 2 or 3 answers to questions and so forth. Now, the topic of Link speaking and voice acting and personality and all that, it's constantly being debated, and fans are split on whether he should speak or not. And we have a good debate on Link's personality in one of our older podcasts that you can listen to. I'm just going to put the link right up here and also down there. Conman 21,100. There's a lot of Conman in the world, apparently. He asks, why do you suppose that Nintendo is slowly integrating more Eastern culture into their games? We all remember the cross on Link's shield in The Adventure of Link, but now in Skyward Sword we're seeing images of Hindu statues and bamboo and stuff like that. Is Nintendo just braving up to show the Eastern culture and religion that they are part of? Or are they commenting on the world through the symbolism of their games somehow? I think the reason that the old games were more Western in style was because, they wanted a more traditional medieval experience. You have swords and shields, dragons, castles, princesses, all that good stuff. And of course, that stems from the lore of medieval Europe. So that's what they were going for back then. I think with Skyward Sword, they felt like changing things up a bit and not be as restricted. So, they went with an Eastern culture thing. Probably because they thought, hey, this looks kind of cool and it's different. We haven't really done this before. Let's go with this. and I doubt they were trying to comment on anything. Though I am curious if the Lanayru or however you pronounce that, the mines and desert in Skyward Sword, you know, they were once green, and now it's just a desert. I wonder if that's a comment on man's effect on global warming. Could be. I thought about it when I played it, at least. Those are all the questions for this week. They are also answered in text form here. Next week we're going to have Lossie presenting the mailbag, and it's going to be awesome, so make sure to check back in a week. And meanwhile, go to selltheuniverse.net because it's an awesome site, and I know you love it. This is Hombre de Mundo, your one and only man of world. Over and out. We stopped doing the mailbag for a while, and I don't know about, I don't know enough about, shut up, Cody. I'm trying to record a video. J-Man Retro Nerd asks, the Master Sword works... No, wait, that's my answer. I'm terrible at this.